Hello and welcome to Krafts by Katelyn. If you're new here, consider subscribing. I try to make a lot of cute DIY decor using inexpensive items on this channel, so make sure that you do stick around for more. So every time that I ask you all for requests, which I love doing, I love hearing from you all, and I have made those videos a lot, I always have a few people that ask for bathroom DIYs, and it's just something that I've just kind of overlooked or forgot about. So today, that is what I am bringing you, 3 Dollar Tree DIY bathroom decor ideas. So make sure you stay tuned and let's get into crafting. For the first DIY, I am using some of these 2-inch by 18-inch decor signs from Dollar Tree. I did have to pick up a large pack of these online. I think the minimum you had to purchase was 26 of them, so I still do have plenty of these to be used. I have already removed the labels from the back the best I could and then sanding them down evenly. I highly recommend using the backs because I have used the front before, and after you paint these and try to distress them, the words from the front do still want to try to show through, but I'm just going to go ahead and try to connect all 3 of these boards by applying E6000 and then some hot glue over that. And I've explained this in a ton of my videos, but I still get a lot of questions, and the reason that we always do this is because the E6000 gives such a stronger, longer hold, I think, and the hot glue is just temporary there to hold this in place, because on these larger, heavier pieces, it is a big struggle for the hot glue to hold these together. But with the E6000 in there, these really stay together nicely, and it makes this perfect little palette sign that I was excited to paint. I ended up doing 2 coats of the white Waverly chalk paint, and then I just took a piece of sandpaper and distressed the edges. I love how it looks with distressing the edges, and then I went ahead and sanded in between each board the best I could. Where I wasn't able to remove 100% of the glue or the adhesive that held on the label, it did crack. It did cause the chalk paint to crack a little bit, but I love how it looks. I love the effect of it, and it just makes it look more rustic. If this bothers you, you can just make sure that you do sand it all the way down. Next, I am using some of these Dollar Tree wooden letters. I ended up having to use 2 packs of them to spell out the words hot baths, and then I painted them black with my apple barrel paint. I made sure that my letters were completely dry and then laid them out and hot glued them down onto my sign. I am in love with how this looks together. Even though today I am making some bathroom decor, this sign gives you the perfect base to make any type of decor, and then obviously you can change the lettering to say whatever you want. You can also change the little picture that I'm going to make on the side. But I just love how this looks together. I think it's so farmhouse, and this would be such an inexpensive way to make cute little signs around your house. After my letters were on there, I wanted to paint a bathtub on my sign, so I looked up a bathtub image off of Pinterest so I could look at it for reference while I just tried to sketch one out using my pencil. Obviously, this doesn't get it perfect, but I still think it turned out really good. After I was happy with how it turned out, I filled in the tub with the same black paint that I used for my letters. I wanted this sign to say hot baths 25 cents, and I thought it would be really cute to add the 25 cents over the tub. Dollar Tree also sells these wooden letters, so this worked perfect to just paint them the 25 in white and then glue them over the black silhouette tub. After adding the scent symbol and coating this in the Rust-Oleum Gloss Clear Spray, it is ready to display beautifully in your bathroom. This is definitely one of my favorite signs that I've ever made using Dollar Tree items, and I will for sure be making this in a ton of different designs. I think this is a beautiful piece, and at making it for a little bit over $5, I think that is a really great price. Moving on to the next project, I have one of these hanging decor pieces. I thought this would be perfect as a piece for my bathroom, and I just want to paint those wood pieces at the top and the bottom, so I'm going to be taping off the canvas area so that I can paint this with some of my Waverly chalk paint in the color Truffle.
Every change has a reason, baby, let it come to you. Every soul, every season.
I'm kind of going for a faux wood look on those top and bottom pieces, so after the brown had dried, I did dry brush over it with some of my mineral color chalk paint. And then I needed the background to be solid white, so then I taped over the brown pieces that I just painted so I won't get white paint on them, and then give this 2 coats of my white Waverly chalk paint. I think because this had a shiny protective coating on there and the fabric was very flexible, it caused the chalk paint to crack, but I love how this looks. I think it gives it a really cool effect, but if you don't like that, you could definitely try to use a white acrylic paint instead. To get my lettering on there, I just printed off this sign. I opened up Microsoft Word and just typed it up, and then I just enlarged the font. I try to measure what I'm laying it on, and then I can try to see in the program how big I want this letters to be. But I'm going to transfer it on there by shading on the back and then tracing this over in the front. To paint these letters, I am just tracing the pencil line with one of these Sharpie paint markers. I love these. They make lettering so easy. I love to trace the pencil line so that I have a nice thick outline, and then paint inside the lines with some of my Black Apple Barrel paint. Next, I wanted to use some of these beautiful eucalyptus stems that I picked up from Walmart. These were only $3. I thought this was a great deal for how pretty and full that they were, but I'm taking some of my wire cutters and clipping off a few of the little stems, and then I put them in opposite directions and then hot glued them to the bottom of this sign, and I just thought this added so much more detail and made it look a lot more farmhouse. I thought this turned out so beautiful for a bathroom. I just love it. And if you honestly already had some greenery that you could use at the bottom, you could make this sign for $1. And for the last project, I'm also making some more inexpensive bathroom wall decor, and I have picked these up a while back, but they have tons of different versions of these or different styles. And the first thing that I'm going to do is try to sand the edges. This looks like the actual art on these pieces were put on by some paper, so the edges weren't perfectly even, so I did sand them down really nicely first, and then give them a couple coats of my white Waverly chalk paint. After my white chalk paint coats had dried, I took a little bit of my elephant chalk paint, and this is just a dark gray color, and I try to empty out my brush as much as possible, and then I go over this and I try to slide the brush against the edges, and it makes the perfect little rustic weathered wood look, and I just love how much detail that dry brushing gives pieces like this. After my dry brushing had dried a few minutes, I just went ahead and went over it with some sandpaper. I love how this gives it more of a rustic look, and it also softens the harsh elephant colored brush strokes. And then I wanted to add some texture onto these signs, so I'm using a large roll of burlap. I picked these up in the wedding section from Walmart. They're really inexpensive to get a large roll like this because I do use it on a ton of different projects. And I just cut this down so that it would fit in the center of these signs. I like to pull out a couple of the strings and cut the hem off of the edge so that it does ravel a little bit and it gives it more of a rustic look. To make sure that this will not continue to ravel, I do like to hot glue it along the edges to attach it to this sign. I just try to line it up in the center and then glue over the edges around the back. So after I repeated this to cover the second block with burlap, I'm just jumping in and trying to be brave and freehanding the words relax and renew on these burlap signs. I definitely would prefer to trace this using the stencil method of printing the font off of my computer, or maybe even trying to sketch this out with pencil first, but it is so hard to see for the pencil to show up on this fabric, so I am taking my Sharpie paint marker and just jumping in, and it's not perfect, but I think after I take my Apple Barrel black paint and I really make the lines bold and more thick, it looks a lot better. I also wanted to add some extra little greenery pieces to this sign, so I just glued a couple pieces to the top of this. I love the look of decor pieces whenever they are hung with some nautical rope and the knots are showing in the front, so I decided to do that on these pieces. Because I didn't want to drill holes through this, it would be hard to tie this around the board and how it's made. I just decided to hot glue the knots to the side of the sign. I would also recommend adding some E6000 to give it a longer hold, or you could hang these with a nail in the back. I also think this little set of signs turned out super cute as well, and all of these items are just a very inexpensive way to add some new neutral rustic decor into your bathroom, and a perfect way to redecorate on a budget for a space that needs some extra special pieces. So let me know in the comments below which DIY was your favorite. I love reading those comments and hearing which one was your favorite because it lets me know which ones that you like or the kind of style of DIYs that you like. So let me know down below. But thank you all so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. Please give this video a big thumbs up and I'll see you next time. Bye!